The Serving Up Discipleship podcast is to help our audience understand the sacred work of service missionaries and why service missions are spiritually transformative and fulfilling. This podcast is produced under the direction of a senior service missionary couple, social media advisors.
Welcome to yet another wonderful episode of Serving Up Discipleship. I'm your host, Elder Lewis, and this is my co-host, Elder Price. With us today, we have Elder Gibby, which, for those of you who don't know, Elder Gibby is the wonderful, amazing, awesome elder who happens to edit all of our podcast episodes. So this is going to be a fantastic one. Elder Gibby, if you wouldn't mind just going ahead and introducing yourself for the rest of all of our viewers.
I'm Elder Gibby. I've been on my mission for about 9 months. You may remember me from such things as the intro, the outro, and the outro that I use for the question of the week.
Wonderful. We really appreciate Elder Gibby hopping on and taking the time to work with us. He does a great job. Super nice. We just film and send it to him, and then he gets it all edited and sends it back. So
podcast
really
will not exist without him.
Yeah, I could not do it at all. Well, wonderful. So we kind of wanted to just dive a little deeper into your service mission life, your schedule here. So we know that you're a part of the council. You're another council member that we have on here, the social media council. But what other assignments do you have in your day-to-day life? Just give us like a weekly schedule.
Okay. So on Mondays, I'm at the Bishop Storehouse, and usually I have the ability to drive orders from the Bishop Storehouse to families in my ward. There were 3 families today, so that was a lot. I had to bring my mom's car as well as my car for that. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm at the Worthington Resource Pantry, which is a pantry in my area. On Wednesdays, I'm at another food pantry that has an actual street name, and I'd rather not disclose the street name. And on Fridays, I serve in the temple every week, every Friday. And sometimes I drive blood for the Red Cross. I go to the Red Cross building in downtown Columbus, drive it to hospitals around the 270 belt.
So
Saturday's my P day.
Man, we love P days, right?
Yep.
He is the
No,
best.
that's wonderful. That seems like an awesome schedule. And we gotta ask this because we ask everybody this. But what is your favorite assignment that you have?
I'm gonna follow everyone else's lead and say that it's the temple. Big fan of that.
I
place.
forget the one problem is he edits all the videos, so he's seen all these. So I guess he already knows what to say. This is
he knows the drill. He knows what's going on.
He knows the drill. We can't really like surprise him with anything. No, yeah. Temple's a wonderful place. That's for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of miracles.
Definitely. So maybe not your favorite assignment, but what's your favorite part about being a service missionary? What do you love about being a service missionary?
I think that my favorite part is that I have the ability to be in my comfort zone and also be outside of my comfort zone. Like my Red Cross, I get to be by myself the whole day, but at the temple, I have to memorize things. Actually, I'm good at memorizing. Sorry, I have to like talk to people about like, what am I doing? What do you mean I'm officiating? and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
It gives you the ability to push yourself, but also keeps it in it's right on that line of comfort, out of comfort, which is like a perfect line to be on. So I think that's pretty good. Yeah. Well, perfect. We wanted to ask real quick, just because, you're part of the social media council, you're an editor. What is it like being an editor for this podcast? Or you know what I'm trying to say here? The social media council, how is it like?
The ability to edit this podcast is like, I want to like edit more videos in the future of just like my own personal projects, like maybe doing it in a more professional capacity. But one thing I get to enjoy is like you said earlier, I get to hear everyone else's responses to the questions, and that way I can prepare myself a little bit for this episode specifically.
Wonderful.
Definitely. So we try to have a topic. That's the word that I'm going for. Try to have a topic with our episodes, and we didn't always start out like that. But our topic today is tolerance, and how has that played a role in your life as a missionary or as a service missionary?
That is a very good question. Tolerance. While we're on the theme of editing podcasts, sometimes my computer crashes while editing. Like when I do the question of the week videos, I zoom in on the person who's asking the question, and then sometimes when I zoom in, it like stops working, and I'm very tolerant of my computer. But in a more general sense, I get to see a lot of different types of people in like the food pantries that I'm at. And it's like I get to see that like I have I am blessed to have the opportunity to spend my time doing service. And being able to be one small part in blessing the lives of others. And I get to see, sorry, like other people. I get to see other people, and I can't feel like bad for these people, because like if I felt bad for them, I wouldn't help them, I guess.
Yeah, I think tolerance plays an important role with patience as well, and there's a line that goes with both of those two: tolerant of things, tolerant of people, and patience is the same way. Patience while editing a video, patience with people, patience with love. It's I think they both connect, and I think they're both an important part of life in general, but also a very important part of missionary work and the service that we can do for others. I think it's a very valid point. Yeah. Wonderful. Lewis, anything you wanted to add to that?
No.
Okay. Well, then I think it's
Good job
time.
making that my answer sound like a normal thing a normal person would say.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about normal. None of us are normal, right?
Yeah.
We're all unique in our own ways, right?
That's true.
Well, I think it's time, Elder Lewis.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty
Are you
sure.
sure it's time?
I'm pretty sure.
This is my favorite part. I stopped paying attention for like 2 seconds, and then you guys
Back and forth.
do this bit.
We need little like fireworks or something that pops up. I don't know.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Question of the week. I gotta say, it's getting hard to figure out what to do for the question of the week. We've kind of gone through a lot of the big questions. So for those of you watching, please put comments in the thing in the bottom and say
We have an email too. So send us any questions you have about service missions through that email. We'll definitely answer them. We're running out of questions, so please help us out.
It's a struggle week by week trying to figure out a question of the week. And we love doing the question of the week. So
And what is that email?
Yes, it is. Give me like 1 second. I'll look it up. It should be servingupdiscipleship@gmail.com.
I'll put in a link or something.
Yep. Servingupdiscipleship@gmail.com. If you want to send us a question or send us a comment, please do so.
We would love to add your questions in there. But Elder Price, go ahead and take it away with the question of the week for this week.
Wonderful. Okay, so the question this week is kind of more of an easier one. I don't know. You can scale it however you want. But do service missionaries have mission presidents? And Elder Gibby, of course, as you know, we all can take this question and help each other answer it. So no pressure on just you.
Yeah. So yes, that like general answer, technically yes. However, that mission president, because we are still members of our wards, our priesthood authority is the stake president. That might change in January with the whole integration thing. So I don't know what's gonna happen then. But until then, my stake president is my priesthood authority, and he's a great guy. That said, he can't he's so busy all the time all the time. So like that's why we have service mission leaders, which has been explained in other episodes of the podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So have you not integrated? You guys haven't integrated, right? That's coming
No.
January.
Not yet.
Too. So it's a little different here in Cedar City, Utah, because we actually have integrated. We were one of the pilot program integrators. So for us, when I started, it was the stake president who held the keys, just like they're saying, and it still is for a lot of places. But for those who have integrated already, it's a little different. So for me, I'm now a part of the St. George, Utah mission, which means that the priesthood keys that have the authority over us are actually part of the St. George mission. So it's the mission president for the St. George, Utah mission. And so the stake president is still, our home ward president there, but he doesn't actually have the keys over us at this point. It's the mission president. So it changed a little bit there. But once again, going back to Elder Gibby's point, the mission president has a lot on his plate. He's already in at least the St. George, Utah mission. He's got 300 missionaries or 200 proselyting missionaries right now. And so we just added another 250, 300 service missionaries onto that. And he can't keep that, he can't keep that going. So we still have our service mission leaders even after integration, because we still work with them. And then if there's a problem that needs to involve the mission president, then we bring the mission president in. But wow. Yeah, so we still keep service mission leaders, still have their mission presidents. A little different, but it's not too complex. Elder Lewis, is it the same? It's the same as Elder Gibby for you?
Yeah, it is. So the stake president is my mission president, as I like to call him. But yeah, it's the same. I report to my stake president on stuff, and that kind of thing. And so I know that once we integrate, that the mission president will be in charge of that. But I don't know, because we only have like all of 3, maybe 4 service missionaries in the Jacksonville, Florida mission total, not like 300. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't know if it's going to be different for us than it is for the Utah service missionaries, but just because we don't have the numbers that you guys have. So we'll see what happens that way.
That's why we have this podcast, so we can keep you guys updated. So in, I don't know, 6 months or so, when everything changes for you two, boom, we'll bring it back on. We'll get it answered for everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
I have a question, actually.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Elder Price, do you have interviews with the mission president every 6 weeks? Because I have interviews with the stake president every 6 weeks.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I don't actually have it with the mission president. I have it with the mission leaders, just because my mission president's in St. George and it's not in Cedar, and so we try to keep it close that way. But I imagine sooner or later I probably will have an interview with the mission president at some point. I don't know if they'll do it like every so often, every other month, every 2 months. I don't know. So
Elder Gibby, you have interviews with the stake president every 6 weeks?
I don't think I have that often.
Okay, maybe that's the goal.
Right.
I have met with my stake president all of one time since being home as a service missionary.
Yeah, I think like 3 times in 9 months. So once every 3 months or so.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, interesting.
Different.
It is. Okay. So I hope that answers your guys' questions on mission presidents for service missionaries. Again, if you have a question, put it in the chat, put it in the comments, email us, do the things, and we'll put it in our podcast. On the topic of integration, we are having a very special guest next week, so tune in, and we're super excited. Me and Elder Price, I know, but he's going to give us a lot more information about integration. So if you guys have questions, comments, or concerns about integration, tune in next week, and you'll get a lot of those answers that you need for your questions. So stay tuned for that. So going back to our topic for this episode, how do you feel you've grown in regards to tolerance, and how do you feel that that's prepared you for future life after your mission?
Hard questions for you, Elder Gibby.
Yeah.
Throwing them curveballs.
Yeah. I'd like to say that like what I said earlier, being able to interact with a lot of different people. I think if I were to only interact with just members of the church all the time, which would be great, I wouldn't know the experiences of more people. And because I'm a service missionary, I get to go and help out a bunch of different people at a given time. I'm able to see what other people do. And that's just something that can be brought into everyday life quite easily.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
Yeah, I think it goes back to that point of, pushing yourself a little bit, putting yourself out there and out of your comfort zone, because that's where you grow the most. And then going back to tolerance and patience kind of being parallel things, and having tolerance for yourself, even patience for yourself. I think those are important concepts too, especially for life after the mission. I don't know about you guys, but I'm over here like, what am I going to do? I gotta be patient with myself and with my path, so that way I can actually achieve the goals and dreams that I have. So
Can't run if you haven't started walking yet, right?
that's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Put the foot in, right? Put the foot in the water. It'll all make sense. So patience and tolerance. Awesome. Well, our second to last question that we have for you today, Elder Gibby, might also be kind of a harder one. I don't know. But it is, what has been the hardest thing about the service mission that you have had to overcome?
I think I'm gonna cheat a little bit and say that deciding to do a mission at all was the biggest challenge for me. Like I like what before I started my mission, I was like, before I started the process on doing a mission, I didn't want to do a mission because I was like, my faith was not in the best spot at that point. But the idea of starting doing my papers, that led me to wanting to do it more and more. And here I am editing a podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
Growth. Yes, it's awesome. We appreciate you. We cannot do this without you. So the fact that you were able to overcome that challenge and be here today on our podcast and editing in the background, it's Perfect.
I'm gonna throw another curveball here at you, Elder Price and Elder
Oh
Gibby.
no.
As you overcame that challenge, how, I guess, what are the lessons you?
Elder Lewis. So he was saying, what are the challenges that you've overcame something? So it could be, I'm curious. You talked about how your computer kind of, would sometimes just shut down and restart. Is there any other challenges that you have when you're editing the videos that you've had to kind of figure out and be tolerant towards?
Like for me personally, editing this podcast is like the easiest assignment I have. Like, oh,
I guess I kicked him out. That's
he's
rough.
gone. That's so sad. So what was I saying?
Editing this podcast was the easiest assignment.
Editing this podcast is very easy. I'm like 20 it like honestly the hardest part of that is like when internet happens and I have to like cut it out. On the first episode, Elder Lewis sneezed in the middle of someone talking, and I was able to edit that part out, but not what someone else was saying. And
Back.
yeah, but another difficulty was a couple of weeks ago I officiated a session at the temple. That was definitely a challenge for me. I was just like, I can push buttons. I can push buttons. I'm not even really that good at praying in general. Why would the prayer circle would be very scary for me.
Right.
Did you guys manage to hear the question that I had before I got
We did
booted
not.
off?
No.
Awesome.
You can ask.
We assumed that it was about a challenge that I had in my service. I talked about officiating the temple session.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, what were the lessons you feel like you've learned from overcoming those challenges, and how do you think that has prepared you for the future?
Well, officiating the temple, like it really helped me by listening to the Spirit. Like before officiating the session, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say this, and then I didn't say any of that.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like that happens.
Listen
with
to the
talks
Spirit is
too.
very important.
Sometimes you like are giving a talk. I don't know if this happened to you guys, but you're giving a talk and then all of a sudden you go off of the talk and you say something way better than you even wrote. So Spirit, it's a powerful thing.
Yeah.
And I don't ever remember what I say either. I'm just like, what? I don't know what.
Yeah, that's fair. Spirit works in weird ways, in mysterious ways, right?
Definitely.
Well, wonderful. Just real quick, we wanted to just get this last question. We just want to ask your testimony of a service mission, if you'd be willing to share that with us.
I'm quite a big fan of service missions. One thing that I'd like to say is that I knew what a service mission was before I got my call. The first service missionary in Ohio, since they made the service mission papers and the missionary paper, the proselyting mission papers, the same papers. The first service missionary since that point was in my ward, and like I interacted with him like all the time. We were we were friends. We've been on high adventures together, and so back to the point where earlier when I said that my faith was struggling, I still knew that service was a good thing. So I was just like, oh, I don't need to proselyte. I'll just serve, but I'll just do a service mission. But I was able to because of papers process, being like, oh, I'm going to do this, I felt like I was able to be okay with serving, even if it was a proselyting mission. But I got called to be a service mission, and I'm loving it. I get to edit a podcast and do other important things. So I like to bear my testimony that this is a good thing. And I'm going to say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Wow. Thank you for joining us, Elder Gibby. Let's put some like random applause here or something. I don't know. No, but yeah, it's always, I know me, as far as I go, I really enjoy these podcasts. Elder Price, I think, enjoys them too. And it sounds like, Elder Gibby, you enjoy editing the podcast for us, and we really
I get to
appreciate all the
see
work.
I get to see it a whole week early, which is quite
Yeah.
fun.
Pre-release.
He gets a sneak preview, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But this episode's going to be rough because I get to hear my own voice, which is always fun.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. But as always, it's a pleasure being here, and let's go forth in service with discipleship.
Peace out.
Thank you for taking the time to see or hear this podcast. Your hosts were Elder Lewis and Elder Price. Your editor is me, Elder Gibby. If you want to see clips from the show or other service mission related content, please look for the Hands of the Lord Facebook page. Thanks again for thinking of us, and we'll see you next time.